See, it's not as easy when you're in front of the camera, buddy. We just drove up into Washington, just across the river, so you guys know. And we're gonna run through leveling a truck and how to make sure your sleeping platform is nice and level. It's probably worth starting out with kind of why it matters if your truck is level when you set up for the night. You're on the mattress, and sleeping bags are generally made of pretty slick material. So if your mattress isn't level, you're gonna find that just drift all night long, kind of down towards the low points. You have a much better night's sleep if everything is nice and flat and you lay down and you stay put.
But first, there is quite a bit of trash here in this spot when we pulled up, so we're gonna do our part to clean up this area and just get rid of the trash.
I'm just throwing the springs in, man. Sell those. Tidied up a little bit, didn't take long. Leave it a little better than we found it. This is a pretty typical scenario. You've got your camper, you get to a campsite and the ground's just not level. There's a couple of little things you can do that just make it easy. These little bubble levels are out there, readily available. A lot of these kits come with, you wanna eat that? Okay, good boy. Come here, Crosby. Crosby, come here. Good boy. Yeah, you can pick up a bubble level like this, and a lot of the kits will come with a little kind of two little levels that are oriented in a T, so you get leveled out in both directions. And these, you can drop one in the truck bed, that'll give you a good read on how level your truck bed is, which obviously transfers to everything else. You can mount them up underneath the cantilever on the camper, and depending on the model, you can spot it from the driver's seat. And then the phone, you can even drop that on your center console, but they'll just confirm that you're in the zone that's gonna help you sleep in flat. And Josh and I are gonna level the truck. You can do it alone, but it's a little bit easier if you've got a buddy to help kind of eyeball it for you. So in the past, when I've been setting my truck up to sleep in, I've just used rocks and wood, whatever I could kind of find where I was to kind of eyeball it into level, and that usually worked well enough. We decided to buy a couple of options that we could try out and see what we prefer as we look at a little bit more sophisticated approach to getting the truck level. So this setup over here, it's a stack of plates that interlock, kind of like a Lego design. So you can build them up, stack them up in a pyramid, but it basically looks like about a 1-inch increment. So you can step up 1 inch at a time at each tire. These two are basically two versions of the same design. This one was 95 bucks, and this one was like 40 bucks on Amazon. I don't know the difference to justify the difference in price point. This one definitely feels more solid. There's more material in it. This one's a little lighter, but I don't know if it's gonna actually matter in terms of how they perform. It's essentially a ramp that wraps around your tire so you can set it and then back the tire onto it. And it gives you a very kind of an infinite range of adjustment. So in theory, you're gonna be able to get closer to perfectly level with this setup than you are gonna be able to with just 1-inch steps. Whether or not that affects your night of sleep is yet to be determined, but oh yeah. And this is just a bundle of wood. So you want to drive then?
Sure.
You'll be the driver?
I'll be the driver. I'll be the driving force.
You're gonna do great, buddy. So right here, the way the bubble's reading is it's saying that the passenger side front tire needs to come up, and the rear passenger side tire needs to come up a little bit as well to get it leveled. I think we can start with just the front passenger tire and kind of see how the suspension balances out. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball. There's a decent amount of like change in grade between the tires, so I'm gonna start out, I'd say, with like probably a stack of 4 of these. Go 4 high and see if that gets us close. So that's 4 high, but a nice broad base and an easy ramp in. It's worth being in 4-wheel drive, so all the wheels are kind of pulling as they climb up whatever ramp you set up. A little more, another 6 inches. Yeah, a little higher. That's good, perfect. All right, so that cracked. So left to right, we corrected quite a bit, but we're still not level all the way up. I think I'm gonna add let's see, 1 block. See how that does. I'll throw these under the driver's side and we'll see where we're at. Yeah, yeah. Another foot. That's good. So we're nice left and right now, but the front wheels are still low. And we've used up all those blocks on the one set. So I think in the future we might bring, if we were using these, we might want to bring 2 of them, or you just have to keep poking around until you find a flatter campsite. My take on these is they're more designed for like RV sites where you're putting them down on pavement or asphalt. They broke in a lot of locations, got all deformed on the bottom. They ultimately stacked up and we got the truck close enough to level, but I would not select these for the style of camping that I usually do. Yeah, see, those are deformed enough they don't want to stack anymore. Yeah, they are what they are, man. I do like the form factor on them. All right, in the same location, see how it is to get the truck level with these, and we'll see how it goes. So we're gonna start with this setup from Anderson. So they come in this little carrying kit, and it looks like the general idea with these is we're gonna throw one under each tire, and then when you like the level, you throw this back in the front to keep it from, kind of lock it in, keep it from rolling back. So I'm gonna start that there, and then I'm gonna hang out on the other side, and when Josh is starting to climb up that one, I'll throw this one in. So they engage at different points, and we'll raise the passenger side wheel higher than the driver's side. Just kind of ease back on them. Yeah, keep going. A little more, stop, stop. So then that's a little steep.
Just this easy, folks.
This is all it takes. All right, back on up. So stop there, that's good. I mean, it looks low.
Oh, dang, that's pretty dang close.
That's pretty close. I like them. I mean, I think it's a good design. Yeah, if you'll come back just a little more, like 3 inches. Stop. Oh yeah, that's it. We got it. It's in the circle. So we're happy with the level, so I'm just gonna throw this little chalk in and that should lock it up. So these Anderson ramps held up a lot better than the plates over there did. They definitely deformed a little bit from the rocks. Certainly no structural damage, and no reason they wouldn't just keep working as they get kind of beat up like that. So all in all, I thought that worked pretty well. I do think you might want to look into having 2 sets of them in the event that you had a bigger correction than that, because we went to the extent of what you could do with 1 set there. All right, so now we're gonna use this cheaper version from Amazon. Looks like it's Easy to HD, whatever that is. This kit came with this rubber pad, so I'm curious to see if that protects it. There was an option to add a rubber pad to the Anderson kit, which I didn't do. So it looks like these are designed to kind of land about like that. I'm setting this one just a little bit back from that one to change when the tires engage and which height they roll to. All right, bud, why don't you go for it? 6 inches, a little more, stop. So the bubble is just barely inside the target now, which is fine.
How are we looking, Pete?
We're looking all right, man.
Can I go to sleep yet?
That'll sleep.
My God, am I tired.
For some reason, I don't feel like these stack as high as those Andersons or something. It does seem like the Anderson ramps, they're a little longer, and I think that radius of the ramp is a little bit different, and it looks to me like it allows the Anderson ramp to you can like roll back further on it, and it keeps a good grip on the tire. Whereas this one just looks a little bit less seated. So the quick take on these guys, it definitely seems like the rubber pad protected the bottom of the part. It's not as pronounced as it was in the Anderson ones. So these things probably do help protect the part. Another thing I like is this has a little grip, so pulling the wedge out, there was just like a little bit better ergonomics to grab onto. But overall, I think the shorter length changed, or how confidently you could kind of back up to that max height. I mean, I think for 40 bucks, that's like a pretty sweet setup. So what we've got here is a bundle of hot wood. It's naturally seasoned. It was grown and packaged in the United States. We bought it at a 7-Eleven on the way out here. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna kind of sight general shapes and sort by instinct, really. I'm starting to feel good about these assortments. So what I'm gonna do is take this bundle of wood. All right, I think that'll get it up pretty high enough. I think that's gonna work out great. All right, Josh, let's do this.
Coming back.
A little more, 6 inches. All right, let's see what the bubble says. We're in the target. I would say it's good enough. What's cool about that is now that all of that bundle of firewood is stuck under the wheels, we have one piece of wood to make a fire with tonight, so that'll be a early bedtime. As we were screwing around with all this stuff, Lance has some Max Tracks in his setup, and so we're gonna level the truck with Max Tracks and see how that compares. Because if you had these, you wouldn't need the other shit. I feel decent about that, and I'll set that one up a little lower.
Let's get this thing level.
Let's get this thing level. I'm so tired of talking about it. All right, Josh, how do you feel about starting the vehicle? Keep it going. 6 inches, stop. Let's see how that looks. That's got it kind of right. Nice and center left and right, which is, in my opinion, the biggest discomfort in sleeping comes from being off angle towards the driver's side or passenger side. A little bit of pitch front and back doesn't bother me that much. And it'd be easy to throw, just to kind of throw some slightly different stacks of wood under those things and have it dialed. I thought that worked pretty good. I don't think it's how Max Tracks or other traction boards are really designed. I don't think that was the intent in the design. I don't see any noticeable damage to the Max Tracks that's more significant than the impact of just using them as intended. So I feel like any decent traction board would probably work pretty well like that, for what that's worth. So that's our quick take on all these different options. I'm sure there's some other great stuff out there. I would love to hear about it if anybody has come across a system that they think works better than anything we looked at today. And that's that, man.
Let's load up and get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Let's go eat lunch, man.